Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is that you are joining us for whatever we're calling the Tulsa World Scene podcast. I'm here with the lovely and talented Grace Wood. The lovely and talented Jimmy Trammell is on holiday this week, and so we will be he will be having a good time, but we will be lacking his insights and wit into whatever topic we talk about. So I want to thank you all for joining us. If you have seen the Wednesday edition of the Tulsa World, Wednesday, January 18 edition, which is available at fine news sellers everywhere and online at tulsaworld.com, you will note that our main feature in the weekend section deals with hot chocolate, as it's going to get cold again and everybody's going to want to have that. So, and we had several people go out and sample various places. Grace, we didn't byline who did what. So what were the places that you were forced to have to go to and drink hot chocolate?
Yeah, I went to the coffee house on Cherry Street, which is on 15th, and I sampled their Grizzly Cub hot chocolate, which is a variation of their Grizzly Bear drink, which is one of their most popular drinks on the menu, except the hot chocolate version doesn't have espresso. But it has just a light amount of cinnamon and cayenne pepper mixed in. So it's not like an overwhelming spice, but it just adds a little kick, which I really like. It kind of creates like a well-rounded flavor within the hot chocolate. So that was really good. And I also went to 918 Coffee, and they put together, I think, 3 different hot chocolates for us. They had like their variation of a Mexican hot chocolate with cayenne pepper and a plain hot chocolate with whipped cream. And then they kind of have a little bit more decadent hot chocolates that have like, big piles of whipped cream, and you can add like Reese's candy and marshmallow and white chocolate and just a ton of stuff. So those are kind of more of a dessert item almost. So but yeah, those were really good. So
Are you a hot cocoa fan?
I am a hot cocoa fan. I definitely enjoy a nice cup of hot cocoa. What about you?
Yes, I am. I've never been one to turn it down, although I am I'm not a huge fan of commercial marshmallows. And so marshmallows and cocoa is kind of I can live without it kind of a thing. Are you pro or con marshmallows?
I'm pretty pro marshmallow. I've been known to I sometimes when I'm just lacking a dessert, because after I eat dinner, I always have to have a dessert, but I'm known to just take a marshmallow and microwave it. So I kind of make like a homemade s'more, but without the graham cracker and chocolate.
Okay. So it's not so much a s'more as maybe it's just a
Yeah. Yeah,
need all
just
the other I'm sorry that well I was able to go to I think it is the newest chocolatier in Tulsa. It is called Chocolate Nosh, and it's at 61st and Yale in the Kings Point shopping center, the shopping center sort of catty corner from St. Francis Hospital. Natalie, oh dear, I forgot her last name. Natalie Adams. I remember because I asked her if she needed 2 Ds, and she says no, she's neither creepy nor kooky, and that is true. But she sort of started this. This is her first foray into any kind of commercial food business. But I've sampled some of the chocolates that she makes, and they're very, very good. They're some really interesting flavors like matcha and green tea with dark chocolate. Just, I mean, some really interesting stuff. And they also have a full coffee bar, and they serve a hot chocolate. They're just one type. Although they said that they can't make it with, if somebody wants, like oat milk or but if otherwise, if you just order hot chocolate, you get steamed milk out of an espresso machine mixed with their Belgian chocolate cocoa powder. It's remarkably not sweet. I mean, there's a little bit, but it's not, you normally people think of hot chocolate and they think of something that's almost, cloyingly sweet.
Yeah.
But this is very almost light. I mean, it's the sort of hot chocolate that you would go back for another cup. Most of the time you make a cup of hot chocolate, you finish it, you go, okay, I'm good for a while, and but this you could go back for. They also make something called a hot chocolate bomb, which is it's about the size of an egg, and it is a chocolate, it's a confection that you put in a cup, and when you pour boiling water over it, the chocolate shell melts. There's the cocoa powder inside, and sometimes there are marshmallows. And so you make it all right there. And so that was interesting. I also tried a place, it's a local chain called Sugar Llamas.
Oh, I went there last week.
Okay. And they do their own hot chocolate. And this is they make it with cocoa powder and chocolate syrup. So it's got quite a sweet kick to it, but it's very good. And the best thing about it is anytime you order a drink, they give you one of their little bitty freshly fried donuts, which are small enough that I need to go back and order it, have a dozen more. I mean, they're the size of poker chips. It's not like you're, eating a whole, box of Krispy Kremes or something. So you can kind of tell yourself that this is almost food. But anyway,
Yeah.
And we also used Mr. Trammell took part in this. I believe he sang the praises of the Quick Trip hot cocoa. And our editorial editor, Jenny Graham, who has been working with a student on an internship, they tried a couple of places, including, and she insisted that I mention this, Cricket and Fig, which is at 50, it's in the London Shopping Center, which is about 5800 South Lewis. They do a thing called the liquid truffle, which she said, please mention that. Now that I've written this, I need to go back and get another cup of this. So those are some of the many places that we tried out for hot chocolate. Do you make it yourself, or do you prefer to have other people make it for you?
I think I prefer to have other people make it for me. I feel like when I make it by myself at home using just like the pre-made mix that you can get from the store, it just never turns out quite right. So I prefer to get it from like a local place, like a local coffee shop. So what about you?
Well, I came across a recipe, I believe it was by Alton Brown, who does Good Eats and Iron Chef and a bunch of other things, that I've given as gifts at Christmas in the past, and it's always been appreciated. But as it's probably a copyrighted thing, I don't want to broadcast the ingredients on the air, but it can be found. And one of the things he uses that some people might find a little odd, you mentioned it in a couple of the places that you'd tried, a bit of cayenne pepper. That does a lot to amp up the chocolate flavor. Now, for a long time, and I mean long time readers of the Tulsa World, we used to have a column called Action Line, which was sort of a ombudsman, you got a question about something, we'll try to find an answer to it. That for many, many years was written by Phil Mulkins. And when he took it over in 1978, someone had sent in a hot chocolate recipe that everybody would ask him for. And so it became sort of a Tulsa World tradition when winter rolls around for the original Action Line hot cocoa mix to be published. I don't know that it's been published for a while, but I do, strangely enough, happen to have it in front of me here. And since it's, I guess, our property, if for those of you who want to make your own, this is one way to do it.
Nice.
This is coffee. This is not hot chocolate. I'm a professional. I am a professional. Okay, the original Action Line hot chocolate mix is made with 1 8-quart box of powdered milk, 6 ounces of non-dairy creamer, 1 pound powdered sugar, and 2 14-ounce containers of Nestle Quick chocolate milk mix. You mix them together in a 2-gallon container, and it should be stored in an airtight container. To make, you add a 1/2 cup of the powder to a mug and fill it with either boiling water or hot coffee. That sounds pretty sweet, but
A pound of powdered sugar.
a pound of powdered sugar and 28 ounces of Nestle's Quick. Do they still make Nestle's Quick? I don't know.
I don't know either. But I
But
want to try that. We should make it for the newsroom.
we should probably make it for the newsroom. And but one thing I would recommend, and back in 1978 it was probably harder to find, but you can find powdered milk that is full fat. You know, it's whole milk that is made powdered rather than the non-fat dry milk that a lot of people use, and that gives any sort of preparation like this a much better what we food writers call mouthfeel. It's a little richer in taste, and so. But anyway, that's what we have going for this particular week. What else? Speaking of things other that don't fit into a cup, what have you got coming up this week?
On Saturday, I have a feature story in World of Homes about the upcoming Green Country Home and Garden Show. I talked to 2 different vendors who will be at the event. One is a home remodeling and custom home business, and the other is a Broken Arrow family who started a healthy snack company, and they'll have a booth handing out free samples at the show. So it was cool to talk to them. And since it's the 20th anniversary of the Home and Garden Show, they will be giving away $20,000 to a lucky guest. So that's cool. But yeah, that'll be this Saturday in Tulsa World.
Okay. We also have coming up an interview with some of the people involved in the Tulsa Project Theater, which has been around for a little over a dozen years, although it's been on hiatus for a while because of COVID and other things. They're starting back up again with a stage adaptation of the movie Clue, based on the board game. And we talked to the executive director of the company, who's also one of the performers and the director for that. We'll also have a review of the Theater Tulsa's all-female production of 1776, which is very much worth seeing. And if all goes well, we'll have a preview of Celebrity Attractions' next show, which is Jesus Christ Superstar, which is this, I believe they're calling it its 50th anniversary celebration production, in which the actor who plays the role of Judas is a graduate of the University of Oklahoma. So we're trying to set up something with that, but we'll see what comes of that. So
Cool.
All right, so that's what we have coming up. We want to thank you for staying with us. If you do try the hot cocoa mix, let us know if you like it or how you might tweak it in to make it suitable to your own taste, and we may include that in the recipe later. So on behalf of Grace Wood and the absent Jimmy Trammell, we want to wish you all a pleasant day, and we'll see you in about a week.
Bye.